And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the loudest, best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 2,200 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And we also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word Highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature, philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is I have the actual audio masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio productions. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running our four Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these four SDR receivers comes up on the 6th position rotary selector. Also in the selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. One aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant dipole runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters, and through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now let's check in and see if Charlie K1GZL is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up north in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Sir, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yeah, hello to you, Jim. KC9VKV. K1GZL, we're copying you S6 to 9 direct, as I don't have a means of picking up the SDR. You're very Q5, very Q5 on a very sunny day, very sunny up here. It's really a nice day. The temperature out is way up into the low 60s, about 63 degrees. Yesterday it was very breezy and partly to mostly cloudy, and a high it was only 52 degrees, 52 degrees yesterday. This morning it was 40 degrees with a bit of a breeze blowing, but of course then again we're up at 2,000 feet on the Canadian border of Quebec. So, and the leaves are really just starting to really get going here. It's getting pretty beautiful in some spots. If you copy okay, I'll turn it right back to you there, hopefully. I would assume through Milford. KC9VKV, K1GZL, Clarksville, northern New Hampshire.
Roger, Charlie. Although today is not a very good propagation day, I'm still copying you about 20 to 25 over on Milford, Roger.
Copying you about 20 to 25 over on Milford, Roger.
Okay, Roger, but you're Q5, direct from southern Indiana near Louisville, Kentucky. But this is not my quad. It's the cloud warmer firing straight up in the air. I got a little bit of Captain Mike on here, a little bit of him in southeast as he was flying on the cargo jet, two-engine jet. The 767 from Sacramento, California to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at 39,000 feet. where the temperature was minus 60 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees below zero Fahrenheit, 70 below zero Fahrenheit as he approached Chicago. But I first got him a little bit in southeast of Wyoming. Here he is, I hope.
Right now we're just coming up just past Rock Springs, so we're in the very southeastern corner of Wyoming. A1GZL KX4 Whiskey Charlie. Proud, sounding good. Right on the outskirts of Chicago. I think we're a little south of what I thought we were going to be. We're right between Naperville and Joliet. We'll be swinging right through there. Right now we're we're also going to go over a little town called Normantown. I don't know if that's part of Chicago or Normantown, Illinois, but anyway, I was thinking of AC3TD. Anyway, good copy on you there, Charlie. You're 5.9 plus. How am I coming in here? Go ahead. Toledo and Fort Wayne, just a little bit north of Fort Wayne. And we're going to come right overhead. We're just missing the very edge of the very southern tip of Lake Michigan. We'll be flying right over Gary, Indiana, and Lake Station, Highland, Griffith, and a bunch of towns there. Boy, it's a lot of people living down there. We're just right now coming up over the southern outskirts of Chicago. Boy, that's a big city down there. Unfortunately, it's kind of hazy today, so we don't have a good picture of it down there. Very hazy, but anyway, it's fun. It's been a smooth ride so far. We're showing right now 630 miles to go, and the temp up here today is minus 60 here at 39,000. A1GZL KX4 Whiskey Charlie. You're booming in here, Charlie. Great copy on you there. And we'll see if how that signal lasts here as we move on. But yeah, that call sign that Katie got was all thanks to A30 Whiskey Alpha 3 Oscar. He I don't know what possessed him to look around for a manatee call for Katie. She had just got her, I think her technician or general, and he called me up and told me that AA4 TIE was coming up available, and we put in for it, and we're approaching Fort Wayne, Indiana, and yeah, too bad I didn't work you there on, what was it, Tuesday, coming into Sacramento. I think I overheard you on the radio saying that you had gotten in late that evening, which we were just touching down, probably about 9:45 or so your time, but I know you didn't get on because you were kind of tired, but I'm glad everything went well over there at the VA, and things are looking good there, so anyhow, not much more to say up here. We're just about 520 miles to go, still holding up at 2:45 arrival into Philadelphia, and then again tomorrow we'll turn around and head back. And you said you wanted to show up maybe an hour earlier. I think you said 5:30 tomorrow. Is that correct, Charlie? Go ahead. But until we do get off by 4. But yeah, 5:30 will work out fine. I think we'll be just past Pittsburgh. Maybe get WA30 in there at 5:30 or so, possibly. Or actually, we may be a little further west than that. But yeah, that sounds like a plan, Charlie. And we'll be listening for you there tomorrow around 5:30. Back to you, Charlie. And moving along here with a little bit of a tailwind here, showing about 470 knots.
Yeah, I think when...
Got 45 after. How's that sound, over? Philadelphia facing north, Charlie. It's 23 degrees here in Philadelphia, and you're 5'9", 59 on the ramp here on 40 meters upper side band, K1GZL, KX4 Whiskey Charlie.
And there he was on the ramp in Philadelphia. I'm sorry to make that so long. I didn't realize it was that long, but it was, and I apologize. Please forgive me. But Mike does an excellent job with that jet, with the cargo there. He was at 39,000 feet when he was approaching Chicago, and he had haze below him because of the smoke from all the forest fires out in the west and northwest. And we're getting this, I can actually smell the smoke here in northern New Hampshire occasionally, and We don't have that deep blue sky we quite often have because of that smoke aloft, and it makes for a very orangey sun before it sets in the west. KC9VKV, I apologize for the length of that K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie, no problem, sir. Captain Mike sounds fine, just beautiful, and it's amazing that you can copy him so strongly. Is that on your cloud warmer antenna?
Is that on your cloud warmer antenna?
Oh, no. That was on my 20 meter west antenna until he was on the ground. Now, when he was on the ground in Philadelphia, I was using the cloud warmer, which I'm using now. I'm talking to you now. However, when he was, flying, I was using the diamond-shaped wire quad, 4 elements, with a horizontal mid height of the quad. Meters, but the only time I used 40 was when he was on the ground, because he would have been too close. He would have been too close on 20. He would have skipped over Jim, K1GZL.
Roger, Charlie. Now I was just going to do something, and I tapped the screen, and lo and behold, I shouldn't have tapped the screen because it did interrupt Milford's transmission, so I had to go to Rochester. But I should be back on Milford now, Roger.
Roger.
Okay, did you get my last comment? The last comment, go ahead.
I believe so, sir. But why don't you repeat, just in case? I was, like I said, I did have a problem with my Milford SDR at the moment.
Okay, Roger. Most everything I did was on 20 meters. Jim. The only 40 meters I did was when he was on the ramp in Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is too close on 20. Once in a while it is open, but mostly no. When you're talking 400 air miles, it's a little bit close for 20. So I used the 40 meter cloud warmer, which I'm using right now to talk to you. I'm using that you're getting me in Milford, as my 3-element wire quad on 40 is disabled at the present. So I have to use 40 meter, and I use the antenna I'm talking to you now out there at your location. I'm using the cloud warmer, the 3 elements shooting straight up. So 20 meters is good. Once you get beyond 600-700 miles, 20 becomes more reliable. Jim, go ahead.
Roger. Well, always use that antenna for me on Milford, because it's just perfect, Roger.
Just perfect, Roger.
Well, I'm glad that Milford is there to make it good. I'm glad Milford is there. Well, look, Jim, I'll sign with you here. I want to thank you very much for picking me up, and hopefully we can pick you up next week. We'll pick you up next week there, and here this is the 16th of September. Time is moving on. We're getting toward fall conditions, conditions, radio conditions, and whatnot. And I think 40 will hold up at this hour pretty well into the colder season. So God bless out there, and stay healthy, and keep up the good work you're doing. KC9VKV and K1GZL, Clarksville, northern New Hampshire, on the Quebec border, in the Highlands, signing off and clear. 73, Jim, always a pleasure.
Roger, Roger, Charlie 73 up there. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. We always appreciate your wisdom. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. My name is Jim, Juliet India Mike, better known in some circles as Dr. VKV, and we are recording now live till 5, so if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We'll post this recording up on YouTube in the next couple of days, so when you go to YouTube, just do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, and that'll take you to our YouTube Qso-Vlog page, where we're currently featuring over 2,200 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. This recording will be cut number 1 in that series. We also have a new series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature, philosophical kinds of QSOs. You'll have to check it out. KC9VKV Highlights on a YouTube search. And without further ado, let's get on with the show. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
You want to check out? Give me a shout.
November 2, Quebec, India, Lima.
November 2, what's the rest of that call?
What's the rest of that call?
November 2, Quebec, India, Lima. How you doing there, Doc? My name's Kenny. I talked to you before, but I got a new radio here, and I do not understand this thing at all. I was just kind of wondering how the audio is.
Sounds just a little rough. You might be just driving it just a little too hard. We suggest double checking to be sure you're in the 100 to 2900 transferred bandpass mode. That's a wide 100 to 2900. Then the first part of our setup is obviously checking that compressor, and we want that on at a 3. Roger, Roger. On at a 3. Roger. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100, depending on how it's labeled.
Depending on how it's labeled.
Yeah, I hear that a lot, but this is a Yaesu FTDX 5000. Everything is on buttons and knobs. It's not a memory radio at all. And on top of all that, I bought the M1 reference mic, and it's got a 9-band graphic equalizer for each element, which it has 2 of. So this thing is way complicated, way more complicated than just setting a compressor in that, Roger.
Oh, yes, sir. But you see, the problem is you're hot. The next step after setting that compressor is move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, don't stress it, just say it, and adjust your mic level until your ALC is mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
Scale to 2/3, Roger.
Alright, oh yeah, I got it a little bit high there, backing down on the mic gain a little bit. How's that? That sound a little bit better?
Yes, sir, you've got a little movement in your audio now, and it's a lot cleaner. What happens when you exceed 3 dB dynamic range in your transmit audio level? You start to blur, and the further you drive that, the more blurry it gets, and you're actually defeating your purpose, since the main idea is to communicate words, and so 3 dB, we found 3 dB is an excellent compromise between fatness and intelligibility, Roger?
Intelligibility, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. I'm doing my best here with this thing. I feel like I should have to go back to college and learn how to run this radio. That's kind of why I bought it. It's all everything is all manual on this thing. There's 170 something internal memories in the radio, but I'm pretty sure there's a button, knob, or switch for just about everything. You hear me?
Yes, sir, I understand exactly what you're saying, and I think you have everything else nailed just perfectly. Your EQ curve is just perfect. I wouldn't change a thing there. And the only thing that we had to do is bring that level down just a bit to get that dynamic range 3 dB. So if you want to hear the transition of your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number number 1 in a series of 2,200 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Yeah, that's a Roger. This microphone's even got a input for your headset, so I can listen to my outgoing audio. It sounds pretty good on this end. I was just kind of curious as if it sounded the same on the other end. Your signal's a little bit low today for some reason. I had Charlie at just about 20 over, but you're down there 5-6 or so for some reason.
Yeah, it's not a good propagation day. I was giving him about the same up towards the Canadian border. So, some days are better than other days. What was that call sign again?
November 2, Quebec, India, Lima.
Quebec, India, Lima. Roger. And you're down in Alabama, right?
No, negative. Northville, New York.
Well, son of a gun. I thought you were down in Alabama, so let me get you in New York. And what radio was that you're running today?
It is a FTDX 5000, one of the older giant Yaesus with their ever so M1 Prince microphone.
Ah, roger that. Well, I just lost Milford for some reason. I think it's back now. And I don't know. It's something. Every once in a while, Milford kicks things off, and I got to start all over again, which I didn't think I would be able to handle live. But anymore, resetting. I'm using 4 Amazon Fire tablets, and anymore resetting those, I can do those pretty much in my sleep now, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. When you lost Milford, your signal went up to a 5.9, and it dropped back down to about a 5.6 there when you put the Milford SDR back on. So I think I was getting you better on your regular antenna.
I'm always transmitting on my local resonant dipole antenna. Always I'm transmitting on that resonant dipole. I use the SDRs only as remote receivers, Roger.
Oh, Roger, it was probably just the propagation moving around a little bit. Well, like Charlie said, it's probably going to get better as fall goes on here, so let's hope so. All right, so it sounds pretty good the way it is right here, Roger?
Yes, sir. Now you had the chicken, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Now you had the chicken, didn't you?
Yeah, poor Henry. He's long gone now. That thing drove me nuts.
Roger. Now, what happened to Henry?
Roger. Now, what happened to Henry?
I bribed a guy that had chickens to take them off my hands. I gave him like 150 pounds of chicken food and the rooster, and he only lived 3 days. A fox got him, I guess.
Oh, well, so goes the world. Well, 73 of that way, Ted. Thanks for dropping by, buddy. And that radio's just sounding beautiful. I think you like your recording.
All right, thank you, sir. I just wanted to jump in. I had something new to test out. We've already been through my 7300 and my 7610, but I wanted to buy something a little bit more manual, kind of like a learning curve, and it has definitely been a learning curve. I'm still having problems trying to hook up. I got an SB220 sitting here, and I can't seem to make the radio key it. There's something in the internal menus I think I have to turn on yet. I got a lot more reading to do.
Roger, so you're running barefoot right now, 100 watts?
Roger, so you're running barefoot right now, 100 watts?
I probably more. This is a 200-watt radio.
Roger, well, you're, I'm just looking at the, on the Milford SDR, and you're about 15 over their noise level, Roger?
And you're about 15 over their noise level, Roger?
Thanks for the flowers. Yeah, this is just a barefoot MP. I don't know. It doesn't even say MP on it, but it's a 200-watt radio. You ought to look up a picture of this thing. It's amazing.
Roger, Roger. Well, it just sounds just beautiful. So I think you made a wise choice in buying that radio, Roger.
I think you made a wise choice in buying that radio, Roger.
Yeah, that's what they said, and it was advertised not so much by Yaesu, but by other people as being one of the best receivers you could get.
Yeah, roger that. Roger that. It just sounds beautiful. And again, that recording should be available on YouTube with a KC9VKV logbook search by noon tomorrow, Roger.
KC9VKV logbook search by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Oh, I'll be sure and listen to it. I'm kind of curious to hear it. Like I said, I got my Pro 7 plugged right into the microphone so I can hear my outgoing audio, and it sounds pretty good on this end.
Roger, Roger. Now, what I would do, Ted, would be I would leave my ALC meter out for a couple of weeks. Just use that, and you got to have something to do when you're QSOing around. So leave your ALC meter out so you can see it as you speak. And within a couple of weeks, you'll develop a good relationship with that ALC meter, and you'll be able to place it just exactly in the sweet spot every time. Roger.
And you'll be able to place it just exactly in the sweet spot every time. Roger.
Oh, right there. I just turned the. Well, it's not really called ALC. Well, it is called ALC, but there's a proc button on there. I'm assuming that your would be like a compressor on a normal radio. I turned it off. Did that make any difference?
Still very intelligible. Seems to be still about a 3 dB dynamic range in the audio realm. So, I didn't notice much difference, Roger.
The audio realm. So, I didn't notice much difference, Roger.
But the way it was, just a couple of transmissions ago was just perfect. I would have just leave it just exactly like that.
And I bought this thing. There's just about everything on here is a manual button or a switch. I'm kind of trying to learn a little bit more about the older radios. But this is a good one for sure. There's a lot of reading. Like I said, when I first got it, I was pretty intimidated by it. I must have read that manual over 2-3 times before I even put it on the air. It sounds pretty good, I guess. I like it.
Roger, Ted. Now, just as an experiment, back off about an inch or two more back from the microphone than where you were. Just about 2 inches further back off that microphone, and let me hear you.
About 2 inches further back off that microphone, and let me hear you.
All right, that's about 2 inches back. That's probably 6 inches between me and the mic right there.
Yes, sir. That's perfect. I'd run it just like that.
Yes, sir. That's perfect. I'd run it just like that.
Yeah, I gotta order. I think I'm gonna order one of them foam screens for it from Bob Heil. There seems like a lot of the really good stations run the foam screen.
Because it just takes out all the stuff, takes out all the mouth noises, and just leaves the words, Roger.
Takes out all the mouth noises and just leaves the words, Roger.
Yeah, that's a Roger. Well, I'm going to say 73, Doc, and let's get back to your show there. I watch it quite a bit. Most of the time, when I see somebody's call on there that I recognize or something, most of them. But I do watch most of your videos anyways, Roger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And just keep your ALC out on your radio, and you'll be just watching that as you transmit, and you'll develop a coordination between the meter and your mouth, and you'll be able to control that ALC meter just perfectly at the end of that 2-week period. Roger.
Meter just perfectly at the end of that 2-week period. Roger.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's a learning curve for sure. When you look at this thing, you'll understand. Plus, the microphone itself has got tons of buttons and switches, and like I said, it's got a 9-band equalizer for each element in the mic, and there's 2 of them. Right now I'm running both the dynamic element and the regular element at the same time.
Yes, sir. I would just run everything exactly like it is. I wouldn't change a thing. I would get the Gorilla tape and taper down, Roger.
Wouldn't change a thing. I would get the Gorilla tape and taper down, Roger.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear, Doc. 73 from November 2, Quebec, India, Lima. Thanks for the advice. Appreciate it. I needed a good audio check on this thing anyways.
Roger, Roger. It's just perfect. 73 up that way. Have a good afternoon and a great weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net, live till 5. We record, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Record, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Alpha 3, Tango Bravo November 16. November 8.
Bravo November station. Come back with your call sign slowly phonetically.
Come back with your call sign slowly phonetically.
Yes, thank you very much. The call is Victor Alpha 3, Tango Bravo November. Over.
Tango Bravo November, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Tango Bravo November, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Our name here is Len, Lima Echo November, and I'm located Windsor, Ontario, bordering Detroit, Michigan. Over.
Roger, Roger, Lynn in Ontario. And what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Roger, Lynn in Ontario. And what radio are you running today, sir?
I am running the Kenwood TS940, sugar. And the microphone, it's the MC60, but I took the head off, and I'm using an electro voice microphone called a Cobalt. Used for singing, that's what I use it for, but I just wired it up to be used on Aircheck. Over.
Alrighty. So if you would be interested in our setup procedure, first thing would be to double check your radio to be sure it's in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. 100 to 2900, Roger?
Transmit bandpass mode. 100 to 2900, Roger?
I believe that is correct. I heard that before. Over.
Yes, sir. Now move to your compressor on, and at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on how it's labeled, or even a 10 out of 30, depending on how it's labeled. We just want about a third of that compressor on, Roger?
Depending on how it's labeled, we just want about a third of that compressor on, Roger?
Okay, third of the compressor on. I think that's what we have. 1 second. I think that's what we have here. Let me get it on some more. Okay, a third is on at this time. Over.
Alrighty, then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, it's a beautiful word for setup. Don't stress the word, but just say it like you would in a QSO. But elongate the audio part. And with that being said, adjust your ALC to mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain control.
To mid-scale to 2/3 by way of mic gain control.
I will do audio. So the sweet spot is right about there, over.
All right, so let's move to your equalization page, if you would. You sound a little mid-rangey there, and I'm not sure whether it might be because of the microphone that you changed or what, but it's pretty heavy in the mids. So if you are on your equalizer page, what we want to do is try to get some higher frequencies, and we want to make sure first that everything from 400 cycles, I'm not sure exactly what kind of equalizer you have. Is that a 3-band, 8-band, or what kind of equalizer?
Is that a 3-band, 8-band, or what kind of equalizer?
We do not have an EQ on this rig. Based on what I know, there's no EQ on this rig, over.
Are you sure? No EQ? Does it have a high boost 1, high boost 2 like that?
Does it have a high boost 1, high boost 2 like that?
What I'm trying to do is get you some more top end, more treble, less mid-range and more at the top end of the spectrum. Ideally 2.7K would be the ideal frequency to boost, Roger.
7K would be the ideal frequency to boost, Roger.
Okay, I just changed the microphone. I'm using now the MC60 microphone with the radio. Not too sure if it will make any difference, over?
All right, it's very muffly. Back off that mic. Hold it about, is that a hand mic that you're running?
Back off that mic. Hold it about, is that a hand mic that you're running?
No, it's a desk microphone. It's the MC60 microphone, over.
Yes, sir. Okay. Bring your ALC back up and reset your ALC level mid-scale to 2/3. But when you say the magic word audio, Roger.
When you say the magic word audio, Roger.
Will do. Audio. Okay. Mid-scale of the ALC zone.
Yes, sir. Now, and it doesn't have equalizer. Does it have a manual kind of thing, like a high boost 1 or a high boost 2 or something like that?
Thing like a high boost 1 or a high boost 2 or something like that?
No, this one does not have. And I checked the service manual. I checked the regular instruction manual. There's no such thing on this rig, over.
Yes, sir. Okay, I want you to back off about 2 inches further back than where you normally work it. About 2 inches from where you were just now. 2 inches further back off, Mike, and let me hear you.
Just now. 2 inches further back off, Mike, and let me hear you.
Okay, I'm approximately 5 inches from the microphone at this time. This is the 3 TBN.
Yes, sir. It's much cleaner that way. It has to do with your proximity to the microphone plus the volume. So I would leave everything exactly the way it was, but I would run it about 2 inches further back, just like you were that last transmission, Roger. 2
inches further back, just like you were that last transmission, Roger.
Okay, that sounds good to me. That sounds reasonable. And I can do that. That's not a problem at all.
Roger, I think that'll get that in. I'm so surprised that radio, that's a 9405, is that it, Roger?
Yeah,
that's a 940S, 940S, Roger?
TF940SAT, Kenwood. I've never seen anything of that nature on the rig. I'll do some more investigation, over.
Yeah, so well, you sound perfect. I just run it just like that. Your audio level, you're running about 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation is running between 80 and 85%, which is nice and fat. Your words are clean. I wouldn't change a thing. If you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you directly to this recording, and that'll be on a YouTube search. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
And that'll be on the YouTube search. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Much appreciation. And thank you for all the hard work and the input into amateur radio, the 3 TBN.
Roger, Lynn. Now, keep track of your ALC meter and keep it out for a while. I'm starting to suggest that more than often because the ALC meter is just so vital to the operation of your radio. So if you keep it out, you can tell when you're pushing it and when you're not. So I would just leave it out and reference it as I'm talking on the radio, Roger?
And reference it as I'm talking on the radio, Roger?
Roger. Which one of the microphones do you prefer? The first one that I used initially, or this one, over?
I would take this one. It sounds less mid-rangey. It sounds a little broader than the first mic, Roger.
It sounds a little broader than the first mic, Roger.
Okay. All right. So I'll resort to using this one. Thank you very much, and have yourself a good evening and a great weekend. VA3 TBN.
Roger, Lynn 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, and if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
And if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
W8EZM.
Charlie Oscar.
There's a W8 station. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign.
Station W8 station, come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign.
Okay. W8EZM, easy money.
EVM, Easy Victor Mary, is that a Roger?
EVM, Easy Victor Mary, is that a Roger?
Easy Zulu Mary.
I got you. ELM, Easy Love Michael, Roger on that?
Easy Love Michael, Roger on that?
No, I'm sorry. It's W8 EZ. Z is in zebra. Michael.
I got you. EZM, Roger. And what's the name there?
I got you. EZM, Roger. And what's the name there?
Hey, Roger, it's Fred at Foxtrot Romeo Echo Delta.
Roger, Fred, and whereabouts are you, sir?
Roger, Fred, and whereabouts are you, sir?
I'm in the north central part of West Virginia there, Jim.
Roger, Fred, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Roger, Fred, and what radio are you running today, sir?
Well, today I'm running a 7300 there back to you with an ALS 600 BM 800 mic.
Roger. Alrighty, if you would, why don't you take a note on this? It's about your transmit bandpass. You want to be in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. That's called wide by some folks, but it's 100 to 2900, and you can just take a note on that to double check to be sure your transmitter is in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Roger.
Bandpass mode, Roger.
Hey, Roger. Yeah, that's where it's at there, and all I've got set up that way there. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. That gives you the best opportunity for your transmitter to sound just beautiful. Now, you know, there are higher settings. Some of those are way on up there, 32, 34 KC, 3.4 KC. But the problem is you start having people coming looking for you with pitchforks. So 100 to 2900 is the best thing. All right, so now the first part of our setup is to double check and get that compressor on out of 3. Compressor on out of 3, out of 10, or 30 out of 100, or 3 out of 30. We just want a third. I'm sorry, 10 out of 30. We just want a third of that compressor. So it's 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Roger. 3 out of 10, 30
out of 100. Roger.
Hey, Roger, I got the compression on there of 3.
Absolutely correct. Now move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, and you say it, don't stress it, just say it like you would any other QSO word, audio. Adjust your mic level until your ALC is reading 2/3. And you know, we used to say mid-scale to 2/3 when you're using a voice and words, but since you're setting it with that word audio and that held note there, go ahead and set it for 2/3, Roger.
That held note there, go ahead and set it for 2/3, Roger.
Hey, Roger, audio.
Roger, I'd like about 2/3.
I'd like about 2/3.
Yes, sir.
All right, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me hear you.
About 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me hear you.
Hey, okay, I'm running a vertical Z. We call it a Wilson Webb down here because that's the gentleman that run it there. I'm capable of running 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters, 15, 17 meters on it and everything. Can pick up some others, have to tune it all. Really don't have to tune the antenna that much because it's pretty resonant all over the band circuit until you go to the higher or lower part of the band circuit.
Yes, sir. Well, I would move to my equalizer page. If you would like, go to your equalizer page, and we need that treble up about 2 clicks boost from where it is. 2 clicks more treble EQ from wherever that EQ is at the moment.
More treble EQ from wherever that EQ is at the moment.
finding these things?
Yes, sir. That's in settings, transmit, sideband.
In settings, transmit, sideband.
And we want to go +2 additional treble EQ from where you are.
And we want to go +2 additional treble EQ from where you are.
Should be in settings, transmit, sideband, treble, +2 from where it is.
Treble, +2 from where it is.
Yeah, I can't find it. I don't push buttons on this thing that much. I get set up and everything the way it was. That's where I leave it. I can't remember where it's supposed to be.
Yes, sir. Well, let me just give you a note, if you would take a note, that at your convenience, when you find how to get to your EQ page, we want to go +2 clicks, additional treble boost from where it is. +2 clicks, more treble EQ from where it is at the moment. Roger?
Clicks, more treble EQ from where it is at the moment. Roger?
Okay, then I'll get there with my buddy there. He pretty well sets them up there. He's talked to you before, W8WIL Gene down here in West Virginia also. He's one that helps me set this up.
Roger that. Well, just make that note, and then you can work it with him, Would be my suggestion, +2 clicks, additional treble EQ from where you were to help you get a little bit more syllabic range. That syllabic range is where the S's are, and that helps articulation a great deal. Other than that, you seem to be about 3 dB dynamic range, so you're real fat, but the words are clean as a whistle. Roger?
But the words are clean as a whistle. Roger?
Hey, Roger, on that. Yeah, I've never had a complaint about this. I got 3 ICOMs I run a 756 Pro and a 7000, and they're all set almost the same and everything. So that's why I say I don't worry about it, because I have them all set up there very well the same way.
Roger, just remember, though, if you change mics, if you have one mic on there and you change it to another, you must always go back to your ALC and double check your ALC level with that audio and a mic gain, because not all mics are the same, and you want to run that ALC meter at 2/3 all the time, regardless of what mic you're running. Roger?
2/3 all the time, regardless of what mic you're running. Roger?
Hey, Roger, on that. Well, I run the BM800 on this one, a BM800 on 7000, and I use that ICOM ICM or whatever it is, their mic especially made for an ICOM on the 76 Pro. I don't switch them around. I do have a headphone set, Heller headphone set, and it seems to work pretty good on all of them, but I'm going to leave what I've got on there.
Yes, sir. It just sounds just beautiful. And like I say, anytime you change mics, double check your level. Go back and bring up that ALC and say audio and adjust that mic level until your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
The mic level until your ALC is running 2/3. Roger?
Hey, Roger, that's what my buddy gets on to me about there. He keeps expressing that, and I pretty well got into that habit there with it.
Yes, sir. That gives you consistently good modulation, consistently good audio. Well, Fred, let me say 73 to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And like I say, we'll have this posted up on YouTube by noon tomorrow. So if you want to hear your beautiful radio, go to YouTube and do that call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. Will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,200 some odd Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. Roger?
2,200 some odd Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. Roger?
Hey, Roger, on that. Thanks a lot, Jim. I bet Gene keeps telling me to get on here and try it. I've never heard any of my radios actually after I've talked to them, so we'll do it there. Appreciate it, my friend. Have a good day. You sound good back there for yourself. W8EZ, and we'll be clear with you.
Roger, Roger, Fred, 73, sir. Have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
There's a Pennsylvania station back in there. Pennsylvania station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Whiskey, Bravo, 3, Bravo, Alpha, Bravo, QRP, Pennsylvania.
That's BAB, is that a Roger? Roger, Roger, and you're in Pennsylvania. What's the name there?
Roger, Roger, and you're in Pennsylvania. What's the name there?
Give me one more time that name.
Give me one more time that name.
Bob. Baker, Oscar, Baker, Bob. QSL.
Victor Alpha Baker Bob, is that a Roger?
Victor Alpha Baker Bob, is that a Roger?
Yeah, Baker, Oscar, Baker, Bravo, Oscar, Bravo, Bob, QSL.
All righty, and I'm still not clear on that name. Is it Bob or something like that?
I'm still not clear on that name. Is it Bob or something like that?
Yeah, it's Bob. QSL, Bob.
All right, Bob. Yay! 3 points for the home team. All right, Bob, and what that call sign is WB3BAB or BOB?
That call sign is WB3BAB or BOB?
BAB, Baker, Alpha, Baker, WB3BAB.
Gotcha, Bob. BAB on the call sign. And what radio are you running today, Bob?
BAB on the call sign. And what radio are you running today, Bob?
Yeah, I'm running a micro SDR QRP running about 3.5 watts. It's a micro SDR 8-band all mode running 3.5 watts QRP. QSL?
Yes, sir, Bob. Running 3.5 watts QRP. Is that a Roger?
Running 3.5 watts QRP. Is that a Roger?
That's a Roger. Roger, Roger.
All right, Bob, sounds really good for what you got there. I would suggest maybe just a little more treble push on your EQ. If you've got that available, I would crank in maybe 2 or 3 more clicks, additional treble push on your microphone, Roger.
Additional treble push on your microphone, Roger.
Yes, sir, Bob. The call sign here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. I repeat, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. And a second thought on your audio, if you have a chance, if you were to use an electret condenser microphone element for your microphone, that might help your top end. Roger, Roger. Electret condenser mic. Roger?
Electret condenser mic. Roger?
QSL. I heard your call at Kilo Charlie 9 Victor and last two, please. Last two.
Roger, Roger. Victor Kilo, I'm sorry, KC9VKV, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. Roger, Roger.
9 Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. And your name, sir?
And the name is Jim, Juliet India Mike. Jim, Roger, Roger.
And the name is Jim, Juliet India Mike. Jim, Roger, Roger.
Roger, Roger. And Jim, can you tell me what frequency you're receiving me on?
Yes, sir. I'm transmitting and receiving on 7.188. 7.188. 7188. Roger.
Dot 188. 7188. Roger.
Roger, Roger. What sound off frequency do you, Jim? Over.
No, you're dead on it. You're just absolutely dead on it, and just perfect, Roger.
You're just absolutely dead on it, and just perfect, Roger.
QSO. Okay, I just got this rig a couple days ago, and it was off frequency. I've been messing with it, so I'm hoping that I'm on frequency now. QSO.
Yes, sir, there, Bob. You are absolutely perfect. I would get the Gorilla Tape out and tape her down. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that's KC9VKV logbook on a YouTube search. You will run on this recording. You'll come up on this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,200 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Check recordings. I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Roger, Roger. Thank you very much, Jim.
Yes, sir, Bob. 73, sir. And good luck on that QRP. You're doing a great job. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, better known in some circles as Dr. VKV. And if you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Dr. VKV. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 9 Alpha Bravo Foxtrot.
KC9 Victor.
Alpha Bravo Foxtrot. Come back with the whole call sign, please.
Bravo Foxtrot. Come back with the whole call sign, please.
Whiskey 9 Alpha Bravo Foxtrot.
Whiskey 9 Alpha Bravo Foxtrot. Roger, and what's the name there?
Whiskey 9 Alpha Bravo Foxtrot. Roger, and what's the name there?
My name is Paul, and we're on Southeast Wisconsin.
That's Bob in Wisconsin. Is that a Roger?
That's Bob in Wisconsin. Is that a Roger?
Paul, Papa Alpha Uniform Lima.
The Alpha Lima. Come back with that again.
The Alpha Lima. Come back with that again.
Name is Paul, Papa Alpha Uniform Lima.
Yeah, you, Paul. I'm sorry, sir. I'm only copying you a couple of dB over the Milford SDR noise level, Roger, Roger. What I'm thinking is that maybe if you could give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna system. Let me look around and see if I can find us a better path, Roger.
System. Let me look around and see if I can find us a better path, Roger.
Okay, copy. 100 watts from the Kenwood
All righty, Paul, I got you a little bit on my local loop, my 0 degree local 10-foot mag loop, and maybe we'll try that for a minute. What radio are you running, Paul?
I'm running a Kenwood TS570S.
A Kenwood TS970S, is that a Roger?
Correct, it's 570S, 570.
TS570S, is that a Roger?
Roger on that.
All right, Paul. And gosh, if you'd be interested in a setup procedure, what I want you to do at some point is to verify that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. Make a note of that so you can check that probably at a later date. Most people don't know how to really get to their transmit bandpass mode, but we want you in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode. So just at this point, make a note of that and check that out later. Roger?
Okay, copy.
copy that. I got it wrote down, and we'll check it out here in a minute. Over.
Yes, sir, Paul. Now, what are we going to be setting up our setup procedure? And it starts with the compressor being engaged at a 3. 3 out of 30, 30 out of 100, or 10 out of 30. It just depends. We just want a third of your compressor on. Roger?
Okay, copy that.
All right. Then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, audio, say it, but don't stress it. Just say it as you would say any word in the QSO. Adjust your mic level control until your ALC is reading 2/3. 2/3 on your ALC meter when you say the magic word audio by mic gain control.
Okay, testing. Audio, audio, audio. Over.
Yes, sir, Paul. Now, the best way to do that is stretch that word out, audio, and use it as like a test tone, audio, and adjust that with your mic gain at 2/3 on your ALC. Roger?
Okay, copy. I'll set up audio, testing, audio. Over.
Yes, sir. Now, you might want to stretch that word out just a little bit longer because, it is like almost like a human test tone that you're using to set your ALC with. And it is audio, audio, and that gives you a nice steady state tone to get that ALC meter right on 2/3, Roger? So you can't just say audio. You need to stretch that word out, Roger?
Okay, copy that. Test audio, audio test. 1, 2, audio.
Yes, sir. So I can see it here. Now, if you were on 2/3, it looked good here. I want you to tell me the best thing you like about your radio in about 10 seconds, Roger.
Okay, yeah, I think it's up there again. Okay, yeah, it's up there again. MC60, that's fine. I would start to have an amplifier in, but it's turned off right now. And the radio seems to receive quite well. I've got a good receive on it. Over.
Yes, so you say you do have an amp, but it's not running right now?
On the mic amplifier, not the linear amp, just the mic amp from it.
Oh, mic amp. Well, I would just use the regular mic in your radio. I wouldn't see any reason to use an external device. Really, what kind of mic is that you're running?
It's an MC60, Kenwood MC60.
Yeah, I wish I had a better copy on you, Paul. I do have just about maybe 2 clicks over my noise level, so I don't have a real good copy on you. So I can't really get down into the EQ because I can't hear you that well to do your EQ. But maybe next week you might check in and we'll have a better propagation. Roger? Roger, Paul. I did have a little bit of you. Like I say, I had about 2 dB, maybe 3 dB from time to time. But I really, the thing is, I'm looking at your signal, and when you have a lot of noise in that signal, I can't hear it that well. I can't see it that well. So I just as soon not do it until I get a little bit better signal on you. So maybe next week propagation will be better. Let me say 73 to you, Paul. And so you've got basically the proper setup as far as 3 dB dynamic range, 80 to 85% modulation. So it's just a matter of just adjusting that EQ on the mic if necessary. It might be just perfect, but anyway, if you would check in the next week and we'll see how propagation goes. In the meantime, just as a thought, I'm not sure what kind of antenna you're using, but like I say, I've went around the dial. I've got 4 internet SDRs. I have 3 10 10-foot vertical magnetic loops on my local antenna, and I just barely had a hang on you at about 2 dB. So you might think about a different antenna. I would think, maybe something as a resonant dipole antenna. If you have the room, I would investigate a resonant dipole antenna as possibly being a second alternative to the antenna that you have. And then if you have an A-B switch somewhere, you can switch back and forth between them, and usually the best receive signal is also the best transmit signal. So as you listen to somebody, you're switching back and forth between the A and the B antenna. The hotter antenna will usually be the better antenna to transmit on. Roger?
Okay, copy that. Okay, we'll see what we can do is do another antenna online. Thanks again, folks. W9ABS.
Roger, Paul. 73 that way. So I had about 3 dB dynamic, 3 dB level on you at that point, 3 dB over my noise level. So that was probably the best signal I had on you. If you want to hear what you have, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search, KC9VKV, we'll bring up KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. We'll bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Okay, copy that.
Roger there, Paul. 73, sir. Have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Good evening, Jim.
KC9VKV. This is Kilowatt 1, Italy, Sierra Radio.
There's a very loud Kilo 1 Sierra radio. Is that a Roger?
Negative. The call is Kilowatt 1, Italy, Sierra Radio. A1ISR. Over.
Italy Sierra radio. So sorry, I was just copying the mail there. What's the name there, India Sierra radio?
Yeah, the name is Ed Easy Dog, and I'm running a remote base at my second home location in North Carolina. I'm physically located on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. KC9VKV, K1ISR.
Roger, Ed, and come back with your transmit location once again.
Yeah, the transmit location is in North Carolina, 20 miles north of Raleigh, North Carolina. Over.
Roger, Ed. And what radio are you using on that remote?
I'm running a Flex 6400. Go ahead.
Roger, Flex 6400. Great radio. Alrighty, and your audio is pretty good for remote. It doesn't seem to have a lot of processing on it. It could be that you could use maybe a little compression, not a bunch, because usually remote situations are kind of ticklish because you do have sometimes uncontrollable ambient noise levels which play havoc with things. But I would say right now you're in a pretty confined area as far as your background audio, and it would appear to me that there is no processing at all. So you could stand a couple of dB of compression to just fatten you up just a little bit. Roger?
Yeah, okay, very good. I'm actually, according to my indication, I've got 0 to minus 25 dB on the compression. And I'm probably up about 25% compression. I'm not running very much compression, and it seems to have been working pretty good at this point. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It seems to be about maybe 3 dB, 4 dB dynamic range, which, again, for a remote situation, I think you're doing real well. Roger?
Yeah, okay, yeah, very good. Yeah, people tell me that the audio is pretty good. And actually what happened was when I first set up this remote base back several months ago, I had just bought a very cheap microphone and just stuck it on for the testing. And the reports of the audio were so good that I just left the microphone alone. Believe it or not, it's like about a $7 microphone. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Now, you're using a cell phone right now. Is that a Roger?
I'm sorry. No, I think you asked if I was using a cell phone. No, I'm using a computer. A computer. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, but you are different from your transmitter. You're about, what, 300 or 400 miles away from your transmitter?
Yeah, I'm about 700 miles from the transmitter. It's in North Carolina, and I'm on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So I would suggest maybe just a little bit more top-end EQ. Your top end, that's why I thought you might have been on a cell phone, because there's not much in the syllabic range coming through. So maybe just a little bit more treble EQ from your computer side. I think you could do that without any problem, and that would give you just a little bit more syllabic range in your transmit audio. Roger?
Yeah, okay. Well, I could probably change the transmit EQ a little bit. What frequency range are you suggesting?
Ideally would be 2.7K. 2.7K treble EQ boost, maybe 3 dB, 2 dB, somewhere in there. 2.7 KC, Roger?
Yeah, okay. I just did that. I just brought the 2 KC up just a little bit on the EQ. Go ahead.
Roger, Roger. And then everything flat from 400 to 1.6K. You want to be flat through the mid-range from 400 to 1.6K. Roger?
Okay. Well, I have just flattened it out just a little bit. Tell me if you notice any difference right there. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. You sound broader now. You sound more flat now. I think you were pushing maybe the mid-range just a little bit, and I think you were getting some distortion because of pushing that mid-range. So it really sounds a lot less with any degree of distortion now. Roger?
Okay. Yeah, very good. Okay. Well, like I say, people have said the audio sounds good. I've made just a very, very slight adjustment according to what you're doing, and I'm still running the compression roughly about 25%. By the way, you've got a great signal here. You're running about 15 over S9 in North Carolina. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, today is not a good propagation day. I was only giving 7 to 9 up in around the Canadian border, and usually we're 15 to 20 over up that way. So, conditions vary. Today's not just one of those beautiful days, Roger. It's passable, but not beautiful.
Okay. What are you running for power and an antenna, by the way? Like I say, you're pretty loud.
This is a fairly well-modified Yaesu FT990. It's about a 30-year-old radio, but it's pretty highly modified. Moving into a SV220 up to a no SWR resonant dipole antenna. One leg broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg is broadside to Miami, Florida. And when we were setting up our station, we said 20 over from Montreal to Miami, with a hotspot through the Carolinas. Roger?
Okay. Yeah, very good. I'm not quite sure how you get the zero SWR. I've played around with my antenna, and I've got it down about 1.4 to 1. That's about it. I'm running a half-wave dipole at 100 feet here. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Well, when you run a dipole with we're not running a transformer up there, so we're running a dipole. One leg is ground, one leg is hot, and when you're running it like that, what I do is I tune for minimum minimum SWR on my ground side, and then I bring it back to the frequency on the high side. and I keep going back and forth. Minimum SWR on the ground side, and maximum, not maximum, but a proper frequency on the high side. Because, you know, when you make any adjustment to an antenna, it's going to shift. So you have to do, you know, you have to dedicate that ground side to tuning your SWR, and the high side to bringing it back onto frequency. And what I do is, I don't know if you're familiar with what split bolts are, but I use split bolts at the end of my elements, and they hang down maybe about 6 inches or so, and I just trim the part that's held down by the split bolt. It's a 90-degree angle to the element, and I just clip off maybe half an inch at a time. Roger?
Yeah, I do exactly the same thing. I've got about 6 inches. I get the antenna resonated on the ground, and of course it does change a little bit when I get it up high, and I do exactly the same thing. I'm able to get the antenna up and down relatively easy, but I've made, and pretty well have tuned it about the way you're suggesting, but I got to tell you, after bringing it up and down a dozen times, I'm settling for around the 1.3 to 1. I don't feel as though, even if I get it a little bit lower than that, I don't think I'm going to improve anything. A little bit of reflected power isn't going to be a big problem for me. Go ahead.
Oh yes, that's true. It's actually a game. It's nothing but a game. You know, past 1.2, it's nothing that nobody's going to say, hey, you know, that's different from yesterday. Nobody's going to know it except you. You know, and so it's me that I want to keep it there. It's actually like a 0.04, somewhere around in there, Roger.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, I know if you get a little bit higher SWR as the RF going down and back up again, you get a very slight loss, but I have pretty well no coax loss. I'm using half-inch hard line pretty well 90% of the way, so I'm not concerned about. I've got about a 240-foot run, so I'm not concerned about any of the loss in the coax bed.
Oh wow, well, you got quite a run. Good thing we're on HF and not VHF or UHF, Roger.
Yeah, well, I'm basically a VHF where I've got a couple of runs of 1.25 inch heliax going up the tower, and a couple of runs of 7/8. And I had a few runs of 1/2 inch, so I just used one of them for the 40-meter dipole and one for the 80 dipole, just because they were there.
Oh, Roger. Now I use well, let's see. I use RG8, well, not RG8, but 75 ohm RG59 and the RG. What's the harder RG11? 75 ohm cable. A lot of it I had, that available, and I'm controlling my own antenna. So if there is any residual reflected power at the end of it, I can control that pretty much on the my antenna. Roger.
Yeah. If you keep the SWR down, it's not a problem. You're using the RG11U. The only thing with the RG59U is it is a little lossier, but at 80 meters, you might see the difference. But definitely, if you're going to be running the legal limit of power, I'm not sure I'd be using the RG59U. Go ahead.
Yes, I will tell you, RG59U turns to spaghetti at 1100 watts, Roger.
I believe that. I've seen some of the RG8U go up in smoke on 6 meters at the legal limit. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yeah, when you're doing a KW, you need to. I am running 59 on a 5/8 vertical on 10 meters, and I'm only getting probably about 700 watts though on that. Roger.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, so you're not active at all on meters on sideband, I gather.
No, I just pretty much, I used to, I spent, in my first years of amateur radio operator, I was on 11 meters every day talking to San Diego and California, and on a loop antenna full wave loop antenna for 11 meters, aimed towards San Diego, and I would talk to a guy there every day. He monitored 28400 like I did, and so when I said hello, he said hello back on a daily basis. That was when you could get somewhere with 11 meters. Things have changed now, and so I went from there to about 2 or 3 years on VHF, UHF situations, primarily working regional repeaters down in the mountains of Tennessee and Kentucky. Furthest I did was about 9 times into Asheville on that Mitchell Mountain Mitchell, which is about 6,000 feet, and I've been in there about 9 times. That's about a 405-mile trip on VHF.
Yeah, that's actually that's KC9VKV K1ISR. That's a pretty good run. That's pretty good. I've got a pair of M-squared long boom Yagis. They're 18 elements each up at 110 feet, and we feed that with the one of the 1.25 inch heliacs, and of course I'm running an 8877 kilowatt. And I can work out into your area on sideband. I work people, probably about 700 miles away, probably about 600, very consistent. I can work from here up into Canada and down into Florida, but I do work people out in your area, guys.
Yes, sir. Well, we're working regular, not VHF, FM. Not sideband. So we never really got into sideband except on HF. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, okay, very good. Well, anyway, it's nice to talk to you. There are probably a lot of other stations who would like to get some audio check. So I'm glad that I was able to work in, maybe just do a little touch-up on it. But it's nice to hear you. I was listening to you for a few minutes, and it's pretty interesting, Jim. KC9VKV, K1ISR, remote base, North Carolina.
Roger, Roger. Ed, and if you want to hear your beautiful audio there, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,200 some odd Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Okay, very good. Sounds like you're a pretty busy guy. You got yourself a hobby on a hobby. You take care, Jim. Nice chatting with you. KC9VKV, K1ISR.
Roger, Roger, Ed 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And maybe we can get one more in here real quick. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Good evening, Jim. I just want to say good evening, KC9.
Knoxville, Tennessee.
Victor, Kilo Victor from Whiskey 9, Kilo Charlie Whiskey.
Kilo Charlie Whiskey, Roger. Sounding good there. You didn't need a setup or anything?
No, I've got this 5000 set up, I believe, pretty good on this PR40. I had to do a lot of adjustments coming off the HM10 to get the bass out of there from that HM10 to this PR40. Right now running the FTDX 5000, about 80 watts there, Qso.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at you on my local receiver, local antenna, and your audio spectrum is just nice across the board. Why don't you give me about 10 seconds and let me be sure that I've got a good copy on you there. Give me about 10 seconds on your antenna system, Roger.
Okay. Yeah, real fine, Jim. Yeah, we're running multi-stations here. I've got the FTDX 5000 downstairs right now. We're running it into a double bazooka. The double bazooka's up about 40 feet. Working on a tower system with the hazers that I build. I have the hazer that will go on the new tower and hopefully have that up about 60 feet once we get the tilt-over tower up in the air. And get this double bazooka along with the OptiBeam 9-5 for the long-range DX up in the air. So right now, just running double bazooka, about 80 watts into a PR40 off the FTDX 5000. running at 100-29 on the transmit bandpass.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sounding really good. And I've been looking at you on my spectrum analyzer on the audio, and it looks like you're running down to about 200 cycles, about right in there. And your signal was shifting, phasing quite a bit there. I would like to say I've got 3 vertical 10-foot magnetic loop antennas, and I did notice that you were coming in on all of them, which is quite unusual. And then they would shift off one to the other. So a lot of phasing going on right now, Roger?
Roger. Yep, I don't have the amplifier on. I know your day's getting to an end here shortly. And you and I have worked on the audio on the FT DX101, running the Howell 781 up there. And I just switched to this PR40 recently, but had a lot of bass into it. So I really had to work on it. Took a lot of your settings and played around with it to get this audio. But I think I'm there. I don't know, maybe you can tell me on your end, is it the articulation and the clearness of the audio, does it seem to be in there okay?
Might be just a little bit hot into your ALC. That would be always when I switch mics. I would always go back and check my ALC with mic gain in hand, and the magic word is audio. Audio, a simple word said just as you would say any other word in a QSO, audio, with mic gain in hand, and adjust for 2/3 on your ALC meter.
Okay, well look at that. I'm on the ALC right now. I did back that down. Audio. Yeah, I'm clipping right there at the upper end, about 98% of my ALC. I got just a little bit of blue left. Audio. Yeah, I'm right there at the upper end of the ALC. I could probably come off that a little bit. How's that, Jim? Did that help out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you're now about 3 dB dynamic range, which means your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%. When you pass that 3 dB dynamic range and you start hitting that ALC harder, your words start to just blur. You know, you're fatter, but you're blurry. So what we want to do is fat words, but nice, clean words. Roger?
Roger. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I did bring that down a bit, and I'm running the, let's see, well, I can look at this menu real quick here. Give me just a second.
All right, I got your call as W9KCW, is that a Roger?
Roger, yes, Whiskey 9, Kilo Charlie Whiskey, W9KCW. Name here's Tony, Tango Oscar November Yankee, just outside of Evansville, Indiana. QSO.
Roger, Indiana. And that radio is what?
This is the FTDX5000. FTDX5000 MPL, one of the last productions in 21 of the FTDX5000 MPL, running it into a Howell PR40. EQ1 frequencies at 200, level 4, bandwidth 2, EQ frequency 2, 1000, level 2, bandwidth 2, EQ3 running at 2600, 26, level 10, bandwidth 2, transmit bandpass is 100 to 2900. QSO?
Yes, sir. I would take that 2.6 up to a bandwidth of 4. I would take that bandwidth to a 4 on your 2.6K. Roger?
Okay, let me go back and look at that.
That gets it down there just a little bit lower and just a little bit higher, but not so much at 2.7, Roger?
Roger. Bandwidth just went to a 4. Bandwidth on the 2600, bandwidth is at a 4, QSO.
Yes, sir. I think that, and what was your level on that?
Levels 10, level 10, and that's 2600, level 10, and just took to bandwidth 4.
Yes, sir. Now, what is your max push on that? Is that 15?
No, max push on this is 10.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sounds good. Sounds good. I would run it just like that. Get the Gorilla Tape out and taper down. And if you want to hear that audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, we'll bring up this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
Roger, Jim. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. You have a great rest of your afternoon. And as always, have a great weekend. God bless you there. Great to hear you in here, Jim. Appreciate it a bunch. 73s, KC9, Victor, Kilo, Victor from Whiskey 9, Kilo, Charlie, Whiskey. See you, Jim.
Roger, Tony, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And I see by the clock on the wall a dead fly. Ooh, so we got to get out of here. We've enjoyed it. Hope you have. And if you have and want to hear your audio, again, if you go to YouTube, do the call letter search Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. We'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger. So we'll say 73 now. And this is a KC9VKV returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, clear.
KC9VKV, sorry I missed you. When do you normally do this, sir?
Well, gosh, who is this? What's it called?
Kilo Delta 4, Mike Sierra November.
Mike Sierra November, is that Roger?
Yes, Roger.
Oh, I think we could do it now, real quick. Gosh, you sound really pretty good. Maybe we could just check a couple of things. First would be sure you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandpass mode, Roger?
Yes, sir.
All right, following that, move to your compressor on out of 3, out of 10, 30 out of 100, Roger?
Roger.
Then to your ALC with mic gain in hand, and as you say the magic word audio, don't stress it, just say it, audio, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3, Roger?
Audio, yes sir, right there.
Alrighty, now why don't you give me about 10 seconds and let me hear you talk about your antenna system.
Alright, I'm running FT950 Yaesu. I've got a 10-tech Titan 425, and I've got a Cobra multi-band dipole up about 50 feet, sir.
Yes, sir. Now, what radio are you running?
Yaesu FT950.
Alrighty, and what's the name there?
Name is Bill, Bravo, India, Lima, Lima.
And Bill, where are you located?
Located on Barkley Lake in western Kentucky.
Yes, sir. And I would suggest maybe a couple of clicks or 3 of treble EQ. What kind of equalizer do you have? Can you go to your equalizer page for just a moment?
Yes, sir. I've just got a 3-band equalizer on this.
All right. On your treble, we want flat on the mids. Absolutely flat on your mid-range, Roger.
Okay. Well, how do I achieve flat on my mids?
All right, you have, do you just have one control for your bass, treble, and mid-range, or how's that work?
No, sir, I've got 3-band equalizer.
Yes, sir, I know that, but is it a parametric equalizer or just 3 knobs for bass, mid, and treble?
No, sir, it's a parametric. I got frequency gain and bandwidth.
All right, on your mid-range, you want that 1 KC, and it's plus or minus 0. That's flat. Plus or minus 0 is flat, Roger. It doesn't mean anything about the width, because it doesn't matter because it's flat, Roger.
Roger.
All right, so then go to your treble, and if you can move your sweep up to 2.7K, can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 2.7K with a width of 4. Can you do you have a dialable width of that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's 2.7K with a width of 4, and then plus 2 clicks additional EQ from where you are on that control.
Well, it's on 10. It's maxed out.
Sounded pretty good. Why don't you give me about 10 on your antenna system?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We are talking on a Cobra, not in-fed, but dipole.
All right, so you still sound hot into your mid-range. Go back to your mid-range, and go back to your ALC with mic gain in hand. Say the word audio and adjust for 2/3.
Audio.
All right, and then tell me about the best thing you like about your radio.
Man, it's been a radio. The ASU's been really a great workhorse. Never let me down, and does almost anything I want to do except for scope.
Yes, sir. You still sound just a tad hot. So tell me what your current mic control level is. Is it like 40 or 50?
30.
All right, take it to 25.
All right, that's 25, sir.
Take it to 27.
And right there is 27.
I'd run it just like that. Why don't you tell me the best thing you like about ham radio for about 10 seconds?
Wait a second. You sound great. I wouldn't be picking at this thing.
I love a ham radio because of the camaraderie, and most of the time there's a great bunch of guys. You only run into a bad apple like every now and then.
Yes, sir. I told this guy once today, he said, you should be nicer. I said, I haven't cussed you once, have I? Bill, I want you to step back off that mic about 2 inches further than where you are, and let me hear you.
All right. Hello there, Jim. KD4MSN. I'm back about 2 more inches.
Yes, sir. I would run it just like that. You sound so much more human, much warmer that way, less mechanical. Roger?
Roger.
I'd run it just like that, Bill. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do that, call it a search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow.
Roger. Thank you. I did want to tell you that I'm running a Sennheiser MD420, I think it is, stage microphone, and I love it. I mean, I used to play music, and that's what I use.
Yes, sir. Now, sometimes those broadcast mics don't quite have the output that others do, but you're running that at about a 27, which is nice. Now, the thing is, you need to watch out when you change different kind of mics like that. If you get down into a 10 or 7 range, you configure that mic is giving too much output. You're hitting your audio preamp too hard at a 5 or a 7, and you'd need to put a pad in there to bring that volume back up to, say, a 40 or 50. Roger?
Roger. Yeah, I do have about a $30 microphone that I bought off of eBay, and it's one of them ones that you have to be below 10. But yeah, I like this microphone. I'm going to run it.
Oh, I would do that. I think it sounds great. Absolutely perfect. So let me say 73 to you, Bill, and thanks for dropping by. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. Roger?
Roger, I sure will, sir.
Yes, sir. 73, Bill. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. And with that, again, we're going to return the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV Clear.